Okay, so let's dive into what's happening in Mexico. There's this really controversial new cell phone law, and it's created a huge debate. Is this about keeping people safe, or is it a door to mass surveillance? Let's break it down. First, just think about the scale of this thing. It is massive. By the middle of 2026, we're talking about every single one of Mexico's 127 million active cell phone lines needing to be tied directly to a person's official, government-issued biometric ID. And this isn't just for new phones. Nope. This is for every single line that's already out there. And right away, you see the problem, right? This is the central conflict. For millions of people, this isn't just some boring paperwork. It's a question of trust. I mean, given the government's track record with data security, a huge part of the population is basically asking themselves, is this a risk I'm really willing to take? So, to be fair, let's look at it from the government side. To really get why they're pushing this so hard, you have to understand the problem they say they're trying to solve. And that's the widespread use of anonymous, untraceable burner phones in some really serious crimes. And this problem is severe. It's not a small thing. Get this. In just the first 6 months of 2025, authorities got over 6,000 reports of telephone extortion. Just that one crime. The government's argument is that this whole crisis is being fueled by how easy it is to just go buy an anonymous SIM card. The law is really aimed at these very specific, very nasty crimes. We're talking about dismantling the tools used for everything from extortion and these terrifying virtual kidnappings to SMS scams and even collecting protection money. The logic is pretty simple, right? If every phone can be traced back to a person, these crimes, in theory, become a lot harder to pull off. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of the law itself. What exactly are people being asked to do? And how does this whole new system actually work? To put it simply, the age of grabbing an anonymous prepaid SIM card in Mexico is officially coming to an end. It doesn't matter if you have a fancy contract or a cheap pay-as-you-go plan, your number must be linked directly to you and your identity has to be verified. And listen, the clock is ticking on this. The registration window opened back on January 9th. If you already have a phone, you've got until June 30th to get it done. If you miss that deadline well on July 1st, your service gets cut. Your phone will basically become a paperweight that can only call emergency numbers. Now, what you need to provide depends on who you are. For Mexican residents, it's an official ID, like a voter card or passport, plus their unique ID number, the CURP. But for foreigners and tourists, it's a valid passport. And honestly, the process for them sounds a little confusing, maybe even requiring a trip to register in person. The online process has a pretty interesting step. After you upload your ID, you have to do something called a proof of life. And this isn't just you snapping a quick selfie. No, it's a real-time biometric check. The system might ask you to, turn your head or smile to prove you're actually a live person and not just somebody using a stolen photo to impersonate you. So that's the system the government has laid out. But if this is all about public safety, why is there such a massive pushback? Why are so few people actually doing it? The public's response has been, well, overwhelming, but not in the way the government wanted. The numbers are just staggering. As of early February 2026, well into the registration period, less than 3% of people had actually registered. That means something like 97% of users are either refusing or just dragging their feet. And this quote from the Mexico Tribune really hits the nail on the head. This isn't about people being lazy. It's about a deep, deep lack of trust. The public has seen major government servers, we're talking Social Security, even the military, get hacked. So the fear is that this new phone registry will just become the next big vulnerable target for criminals. And this skepticism is totally earned. This is actually Mexico's third time trying to create a phone registry. The first attempt, Renault, was a total disaster. Its entire database was hacked and sold on the black market. The second one, Panout, which also wanted biometrics, was shut down by Mexico's Supreme Court for being an unconstitutional violation of privacy. So, not a great track record. And all of this leads us to the fundamental question, the big debate at the heart of this law. Is this a necessary tool to keep people safe, or is it secretly laying the groundwork for a huge system of mass surveillance? You've got these two totally opposite views. On one side, the government is saying, hey, this is simple, we're just tying phones to people so we can trace criminals. But on the other side, you have digital rights groups warning that this creates a giant, tempting database for hackers and could be used for social control. They see it as just one piece of a bigger puzzle to expand state surveillance. And according to one of those groups, R3D, this phone law isn't just about phones.
They're warning that it's designed to plug into a whole new infrastructure, a mandatory national biometric ID for all transactions, a unique identity platform to track everything you do, and a central platform of intelligence that gives police, spy agencies, and even the military unchecked access to all of it.
And here's the kicker, the most ironic twist in all of this. A black market has already popped up, and what are they selling? SIM cards that are pre-registered using personal data that was stolen from previous government hacks. So criminals are literally using the government's past failures to get around the very law that's supposed to stop them. You can't make this stuff up. So, in the end, this whole situation forces a really difficult question on every single person in Mexico, and there are no easy answers. It's this. In the fight against crime, is giving up our personal data the necessary price we have to pay for security?